Now we are going to start with the new chapter, that is the electrochemistry, right? But before we will be taking up electrochemistry 1 and 2, you should be familiar what actually the electrochemistry is, right? So electrochemistry, what it is a specific branch of chemistry, right? So what does this branch do? Do you know that? Yes, it plays an important role, as this electrochemistry is a branch which just tells us the relationship between the electric energy and the chemical energy, right? And also deals with the interconversion, that is the production of electricity from the chemical reaction, and also the you can say the chemical reaction occurring due to the electricity pass, that is the electric energy. That means the electrochemistry is actually a branch which deals with the relationship between the chemical energy and the electric energy, and also their interconversion. That the interconversion means that we will see that when we pass electricity, they give rise to the chemical reaction, right? That means chemical reaction occur at the cost of electricity passed, right? In a similar manner, what happens that chemical reaction occur first and they lead to the production of electricity. That means this kind of conversion we'll get to see in this chapter, right? So what is electrochemistry? I think you are familiar. Just write in your notebook that electrochemistry is a branch of chemistry that deals with the study of relationship between the electric energy and the chemical energy, and also their relationship and also their interconversion among themselves, right? So electrochemistry, this wide branch is actually further divided into the two branches. So these are the branches of electrochemistry, right? Now what are those branches? Do you have an idea? Yes, you're right. It is the electrolysis, and other is the electromotive chemistry. Just write in your notebook the way I'm telling you, right? So it is the two branches of electrochemistry, that one is electrolysis and the other is electromotive chemistry, right? Now what is the electrolysis? Electrolysis, this is confirmed that these both branches will be dealing with the interconversion of chemical energy into the electric energy. This doesn't matter that it can happen that in the one we will be starting with the electric energy, and at the cost of electric energy chemical reaction will occur. And in this what we are going to see that the chemical reaction occur first, and due to the sake that they occur, it leads to the production of electric energy, right? So this is what I'm going to write for you. Just write in your notebook that electrolysis is actually a branch which deals with the principles, methods and all those things which are involved in the conversion of electric energy into chemical energy. That means in case of electrolysis, the chemical reaction will occur at the cost of electricity passed. That means we'll be passing electricity, that means we'll require an external source of current, right? So that means we'll be passing electricity, and at the cost of passing that electricity, chemical reaction will occur, right? So that means it will be a conversion of electric energy into chemical energy, right? Now just look at what is the electromotive chemistry. It is just vice versa. That means it is the chemistry that deals with the principle, methods and applications of the conversion of chemical energy into electric energy. That means in this what is going to happen, we are not providing in any external source, right, of current. We are not providing any external source of battery or anything, cell and all. It is just a branch in which the chemical reaction will occur first, and due to that chemical reaction electric energy will be produced. So you can see you have to learn it thoroughly, that electrolysis, electricity, lysis means breakdown. That means we pass electricity and the substance gets lysed. That means chemical reaction occur, right? So it is the process or a branch that deals with the conversion of electric energy into chemical energy, right? And in the electromotive chemistry, it is the conversion of chemical energy into electric energy. So these are the two branches which we will be dealing in this chapter. So you should know that which branch is getting which energy convert into which form, right? You should be thorough with it, right? So before we start about these branches in detail, first of all I want you to recall that what is the redox reaction, because redox reaction plays an important role in these branches, right? So you have done this redox reaction in the previous class as well, but for this moment, as I am considering you that you don't have any base, because see, the one tip I would like to give you, see, whenever you study something, right, so it is not like that the words which are used are all new in this class, right? You must be familiar with the words in the previous classes as well, right? So what you do, if you are not thorough with those words, just get into the deep and just you can say take out the meaning out of it and just learn the concept now, because the concept of science are interrelated, right? Like if I told you that this involved redox reaction, and this redox reaction you have already done in 10th standard, right? So that means if you were not serious that moment, or if you just forgot that redox reaction, so before starting the concept, just get into that redox reaction, keep those basics in your hand, then it will be very easy for you to proceed further. Otherwise it won't be difficult, because the words will be repeating again and again and you will not be familiar with the meaning of those words, right? So that means if you are studying something, if you get across any new kind of word and it means a meaning to something, so just take out 2 minutes and just study the basic of that. It will be convenient for you to study the chapter, right? So just keep in mind, right? So if you get a new word, a new term which you have heard earlier but you actually forgot, just go through once. It will just take 2 minutes to do that. So just coming to the main point which we were discussing. So the branches are electrolysis and electromotive chemistry. As I told you, we need to know the redox reaction first. Now, what is redox reaction? As the name suggests, it is obviously a reaction, right? A chemical reaction, a type of chemical reaction, and you know that what is a chemical reaction, in which some substances react, that means the reactants react to form a new substance, that is product, right? So we have an example of a chemical reaction, a type of chemical reaction, that is the redox reaction, right? This redox reaction is actually formed from, as the name suggests, RED means reduction, and OX means oxidation. So as the name suggests, the redox reaction occur at the cost of reduction and oxidation, right? So before starting the redox reaction, we should be familiar what is the reduction and what is the oxidation, right? So there are many concepts which should just make you understand about the reduction and oxidation, but in this chapter we'll be taking into account only the electronic concept, right? So the electronic concept will actually decide that what is oxidation and what is reduction. Just look at the board, it is so simple. Whenever loss of electrons occurs, that means it is an oxidation, right? And whenever gain of electrons occur, it is a reduction, right? For example, I am stating you with an example. Suppose I have a metal sodium. You know that atomic number is 11, configuration 281. It need to give this 1 electron to attain noble gas configuration. So what is it doing? I am just indicating this 1 electron as 1 dot, as we do it with Lewis symbol. Losing 1 electron, and it will result in the formation of Na positive. So this step just includes the loss of electron, and the loss of electron means the oxidation. So you can just say that this reaction which is occurring is called as oxidation, because in it the loss of electrons take place, right? It doesn't matter the loss of electron is 1, 2 or 3, the loss means the oxidation, right? Similarly, reduction, suppose I have Cl, atomic number is 17, configuration is 287, it has 7 electron in its valence shell but need 1 electron to complete its octet. So it is gaining 1 electron, and after gaining it is forming this Cl negative, right? So this equation just involves the gain of electron, that is why it is called as reduction, right? This in the same manner, whether the gain is of 1 electron or 2 or 3 electrons, the gain means the reduction. So this is what we have, oxidation and reduction. Now you can say the similarity or the question must be arising in your mind that from where this electron has it has donated 1 electron and where that electron has gone, right? Similarly, this chlorine has accepted 1 electron, then from where it has got this an electron to accept. So I want to tell you that oxidation and reduction do not occur separately, they occur at the cost of each other, right? That means if there will be some atom which can lose the electron, then only there is this atom is going to gain an electron. Similarly, if there will be some atom which can gain the electron, then only it is going to lose an electron. So that means if the substance is getting oxidized, that means if a substance is losing an electron, there must be a substance which should gain that electron, right? So that means oxidation and reduction go hand in hand, right? And this combination is called as the redox reaction. This combination is actually called as the redox reaction, in which the oxidation and the reduction both occur simultaneously means oxidation occur, side by side reduction occur, right? Reduction occurs, side by side oxidation occur, means both are occurring at the cost of each other. As I told you, they occur in hand in hand. So just write in your copies that redox reaction is a type of chemical reaction in which oxidation and reduction both occur simultaneously, and they both occur at the cost of each other. This is very important. We'll never see the oxidation occurring in a, you can say, independent manner, and the reduction occurring in an independent manner. They occur at the cost of each other, right? It is an important point, right? So that is the redox reaction. I'll be explaining you few more redox reaction with few more examples. So just look at the board. Suppose I have an example of magnesium chloride, right? So this is a metal and this is a non-metal, right? So obviously metal has a tendency to lose electron and it has a tendency to gain electron, right? Now I will be just starting with the oxidation first. So this Mg, atomic number 12, configuration 282, means need to lose 2 electron. After losing, it has formed Mg2 positive. That means this is oxidation. Coming to Cl, don't look for this 2, 3, 4. You will get in, at last you will be able to make this molecule. So just consider the atom. So it is 17, 287, need 1 electron to satisfy the octet. So this is the Cl negative ion, that is, this is the reduction. Now as I told you, both occur hand in hand. So how you are going to write the redox reaction for it? So you will go to write a redox reaction in this manner. Mg 2 electrons, Cl initially with 7 electrons, forms Mg2 positive, Cl negative, crisscross MgCl2. Either write this or directly write this, doesn't make a difference, right? So this is a redox reaction. We have 2Cl, so I am just putting 2Cl here. So this is a redox reaction in which I am just writing again, just removing these dots so that you can understand in a better way. This is what you have, right? So Mg is getting converted to Mg2 positive, that means oxidation is occurring. Cl is getting converted to Cl negative, that means it has gained an electron. So obviously reduction is occurring. So I think it's clear how to show the redox reaction, the oxidation and reduction. One more terms which we use in this redox reaction is the oxidizing agent and the reducing agent. Now what is the oxidizing agent? Okay, tell me first, what is the traveling agent? What does the traveling agent do for you? He makes you travel, right? He plans a tour for you. He just make you visit different places. So that means he is a traveling agent because he is making you travel. So in a similar manner, what is the oxidizing agent? This agent is just you can say is making the oxidation possible. That means it oxidizes other and itself gets reduced, right? And what is the reducing agent? The agent which caused the reduction of other and itself gets oxidized. So that means, I think you're clear with the definition. The agent means the substance which is just getting the concept done. What is that concept? Oxidizing agent, oxidation done, and reducing agent, it is just getting the other substance reduced, right? And what is the effect it has on it? It has the opposite effect. If it is an oxidizing agent, it is getting other substance oxidized, but at the same time it is getting reduced, right? In a similar manner, if it is a reducing agent, it is just reducing the other and itself gets oxidized. So this is what the oxidizing agent and the reducing agent. You can also call it as oxidant and reductant, the same word, the same meaning they have, right? So just we have this redox reaction. So let us check out for oxidizing agent and the reducing agent. So that means this Mg has lost 2 electrons and formed Mg2 positive. That means oxidation has taken place. The substance whose oxidation has taken place is called as a reducing agent because it is getting oxidized, but it is making other substance reduce. For example, how? If this magnesium does not lose 2 electrons, then how the Cl ion will become Cl negative? It will not be able to become Cl negative because it needs an electron to gain, and that electron is provided by this Mg, right? So that means it is getting oxidized, that means it is losing an electron, but it is making Cl reduced, right? So that means it is a reducing agent. It is reducing Cl and it is itself getting oxidized, right? In a similar manner, the reduction Reduction is that the gain of electron. That is means the Cl is gaining an electron and turning into Cl negative, right? So it is called as oxidizing agent. See, the reduction one is the oxidizing agent, the oxidation one is the reducing agent, right? So how it is an oxidizing agent? See, it is getting reduced, that means it is accepting an electron, right? But it is making the other substance oxidized. If it will not act as a, you can say, the oxidizing agent, that means if the reduction of Cl do not occur, that means the Mg will not lose an electron. That means this gets reduced and it just oxidize the Mg. It is just making the magnesium to donate electron, so that this Cl itself is gaining that electron. So that again it is just oxidizing the other and getting itself reduced. So this is how you are going to make out the oxidation and the reduction process, the redox reaction and indicate an oxidant and the reductant. Now I want to explain you one fact, but before explaining you one fact, I'll be stating that fact with an example, so that if I'll say a line directly to you, it won't make you can say a kind of meaning to you. So that is why I'm stating two example. You'll get to see a difference what I want to convey you. Then you can just write down and you'll remember that line throughout your life, right? So what is that example? It's that, suppose I have a beaker. I'll be drawing for you, just wait for a moment, and you also take out your copy and just draw along with me. So suppose I have a beaker, right, in which I have a copper sulfate solution, right, and what I have done, I have dipped a zinc rod in it, right. So what I get to see in it, I see that this Zn plus CuSO4, what will happen? They will just, it is a sort of displacement reaction, because zinc is more reactive, it will displace copper, you know that. So it will result in the formation of ZnSO4 plus Cu. I can write this equation and just form by indicating the oxidation and reduction. Zinc was in atomic form, copper was in ionic form, right? It was in compound form, right? So obviously it was an ion. So what after it? Zinc became an ion and copper became an atom. Right, do you think you can write it? Yes. So what is happening? Zinc is losing 2 electron and forming Zn2 positive. So obviously what is occurring? Oxidation, right? And similarly the Cu is Cu2 positive. It is making Cu, that means it is gaining electron. So that means what is occurring? Gain of electron is reduction, right? And we know that oxidation, the substance who is getting oxidized is a reducing agent, and a substance who is getting reduced is an oxidizing agent. So that means in this reaction, copper, I'll just sum here, zinc is getting oxidized, as you can see, Zn to Zn2 positive, and it is a reducing agent, and copper is getting reduced and it is a oxidizing agent. Okay, I think you're clear with this one example. So these zinc ions are just moving out into the solution and the copper is turning into atoms. So just we get to see the copper atom, you can say just precipitated at the bottom of the beaker, right? So this is what is the first example which I want to state. Now look at the second example. Now then predict the difference between the two, or then you can say, you can think out that for what example I was talking about, or which important property I wanted to tell you. So it's like that. Suppose I have another beaker in which I have silver nitrate solution and a rod of copper. Right. So what do we get to see in this reaction? So that means again it is a displacement reaction, more reactive, less reactive. So obviously it will displace, it will form copper nitrate and silver will be precipitated out. Right. I can write in an ionic form as well. Copper, Ag with positive valency, copper became 2 positive and Ag became an atom. Right, this is what is happening in this reaction. So this Cu is just coming out and Ag is getting precipitated at the bottom. right? So where oxidation or you can say which substance is getting oxidized or reduced? You can see that Cu is just losing 2 electron and forming Cu2 positive. So that means loss of electron, that is oxidation. Substance getting oxidized means it is a reducing agent, right? Similarly, Ag with positive charge and getting converted into Ag. That means gain of electron, reduction. Substance getting reduced is an oxidizing agent. So I think you're clear with this example. Just as I listed here, I am listing this for this also. So in this case, copper getting oxidized and it is behaving as a reducing agent. Silver getting reduced, occurring as an oxidizing agent. So now I think you know these two examples, you have looked for this example carefully. Now I was talking about an important property, important point which I wanted you to write. So just can you make out that point? Yes, you are right, that I just wanted to say that it is not like that or a substance which act as an oxidizing agent in one will always act as an oxidizing agent, or you can say a substance which act as a reducing agent will not always going to act as a reducing agent. That means it just depend upon the combination. A substance can be oxidized as well as it can be reduced. It just depend upon that in which solution it is present or in which form it is present, or it is in or we are just considering which kind of couple, right? In this case we were considering zinc copper couple, right? So out of them the zinc is a reducing agent and the copper is an oxidizing agent depending upon their electrode potential, which we'll be discussing later, right? So similarly in this case what you get to see, in this the copper is getting reduced, but in this case the copper is getting oxidized. So that means it is not like that the one substance which has a tendency to be or you can say to get oxidized in one beaker, it will always get oxidized. It just depend upon the combo, right? So that means if the one substance is getting oxidized in another, can be reduced in the other beaker. It just depends, like as I told you in this example, out of zinc copper sulfate, the zinc has more tendency to displace copper, right? So that means zinc will be losing electron and copper will be gaining electron. Zinc will become an ion and copper will become an atom, right? So accordingly oxidation reduction will take place. In case of this, what is happening? The copper is present in atomic form and silver is present in ionic form. But copper has a tendency to lose electron and form the ion, and silver has a tendency to gain electron and form the atom when we compare the Cu and Ag, right? So that means that is why in this case the copper is getting oxidized and in that case it is getting reduced. So this what I want to tell you, just write in your notebook that it is not compulsory that a substance which is getting oxidized in one you can say a combination will be oxidized always.